G'day battlers, and today we're taking a deeper dive into the Catacomb Cup, and to do that we're going to be looking at the #1 Pokemon in the entire cup, and that is Umbreon. So if you haven't already seen my Catacomb Cup Meta Simplified video, I definitely recommend you go and watch that first, like before this video, because we're kind of going to build on that today. So you can click up there to watch that, or it'll also be linked in the description below, but yeah, preferably watch that first. But yeah, today we're going to be paying out a question that I actually asked in that video, and we're going to be diving a little bit deeper into the Catacomb Cup by diving into Umbreon. So we're going to go through Umbreon's matchups, shielding, some potential strategies, move sets, whatever. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So Umbreon, it's ranked #1 on PvPoke, and that is for a good reason, as we went over in that last video, and that being this. So not only does Umbreon beat a significant portion of the available Catacomb Pokemon, but also literally all of Umbreon's losses aren't actually that bad. And that line in the middle is a tie with a rating of 500, and the worst loss on the left there is up against Venusaur with a battle rating of 315, which is actually really not that bad at all. And basically because of this fact alone, Umbreon is basically already the perfect safe swap in this cup, because no matter what your opponent switches in, you're going to be doing alright. You're putting a fair bit of work in against whatever Pokemon they switch in. Your switch clock might even come up, so you might be able to like switch out, do something funky there. So yeah, we'll kind of go into more of the matchups a little bit later on. But here is also the 0 and 2 shield histograms too, so that just goes 0, 1, 2, left to right. So you can kind of, they're pretty similar. So it's not like it's only a 1 shield Pokemon. It's like Umbreon can pretty much do pretty decent no matter how many shields are on the table. I mean, this is assuming even shields, but yeah, you know, they've got 2 shields and you've got none, you might be in a little bit worse spot, but basically Umbreon, it's good, no matter how many shields. So actually in the 2 shield matchup, there is a little bit of a bad loss over on that left side up against Lipard, because it has Charm, but you know, that's way up in the 2 shield matchup, and you're not going to see many of those anyway, I assume. So I wouldn't worry too much, and still the loss isn't like that bad. So anyway, now these histograms are all using the PvPoke recommended moveset of Foul Play and Last Resort. So if you instead run it with Foul Play and Dark Pulse, so if you don't have a Legacy Umbreon, you do get an incredibly similar histogram, so it's not like you're losing everything if you don't have a Last Resort. We'll kind of go into that a little bit later too. So we're going to run through most of the video with the standard moveset of Foul Play and Last Resort, but at the end we're going to be looking into a little bit of if you don't have Last Resort, and then even if you go for the Dark Pulse Last Resort moveset. So yeah, we'll look into all of that later on. But first, let's take a look at how the PvPoke recommended form of the bulk monster does more specifically. So taking a page out of Hero Vange's book, we're kind of going to break this up by typings and look at the dark types here first. So the green numbers are wins in that specific shield matchup, and then red is a loss, and then orange is a tie, because obviously Umbreon is tying up against itself. So for example, Umbreon beats Alolan Muck in the 0 and 1 shield matchup, but loses in the 2 shield. So yeah, that's just the green and red thing. And the dark types are actually the main reason that Umbreon wants to have Last Resort in this cup. So in almost every other matchup in the cup, you're going to be wanting to go straight Foul Play. But I mean, when you're in all of these matchups except Sableye, you're actually wanting to land that Last Resort instead for that neutral damage. So Last Resort isn't going to touch Sableye because of his ghost typing. So in that one matchup in particular here, you can win in all shield scenarios just going straight Foul Play. So I mean, that's pretty good. It's pretty dominating. Definitely nice to have. So not that you're going to see too many Sableye, but if you do, Umbreon, he's got it. Hands down. And then the Skuntank. So Skuntank can win in the 0 shield situation, except Umbreon actually goes down with a Foul Play. So if you have one extra Snarl, just one Snarl energy advantage, you switch into it, you get one Snarl, and then they switch in Skuntank, you can actually flip that matchup. So it kind of flips the other way in the 1 shield matchup, where Umbreon is usually winning, but if Skuntank gets a little bit of energy, just one single poison jab extra, Skuntank will actually win the 1 shield. So you know, it's a little back and forth. You kind of just don't want to switch in an Umbreon into a Skuntank. That's basically the lesson to learn. And similarly, you don't want to switch in a Skuntank into an Umbreon. So if anyone's switching in an Umbreon or a Skuntank, just don't switch in the other one into it. That's the lesson. And actually, this is running with the Skuntank with Sludge Bomb. If Skuntank has Flamethrower, it's actually worse for Skuntank. So yeah, it's all good. Now Alolan Muck is the other dark poison that loses to Umbreon in the 0 and 1 shield, and it does win in the 2. So although the 2 shield actually it's not as much of a hard loss, it's a little bit IV dependent. So if the Alolan Muck has a really high stat product, it will actually lose the 2 shield matchup to Umbreon. But Umbreon can just win out the 0 and 1 shield straight Last Resort, no need to debate. It's looking pretty good there. So for the most part, you're going to have the Alolan Muck matchup. And then Zweilous unfortunately does beat up Umbreon, basically because of that raw Dragon Breath damage, although it is kind of close. If you have a really high stat product Umbreon, you can barely edge out the 0 shield situation, but there's not really something that you can rely on, and their RVs could be a little different, your RVs will be a little different, so you're probably taking a really close loss in most instances, and that's probably just something that you should expect. So this is actually why a lot of people are going to be running both Swirls and Umbreon in the same team, but we'll kind of just have to wait and see if that definitely does stick. And then there's Umbreon, who's obviously, it's a tile round. I mean, assuming you don't go with a different moveset, but we'll talk more about that later on in the video. And actually, you might also notice that Drapion isn't here, who is a dark type, but we've actually slotted him in with the ice types later on. So, because he's got Ice Fang's the quick move, that's the kind of recommended one that you go for. So yeah, we've slotted him in with the ice types as opposed to the dark types, but we're kind of just glazing over the details here. So, and actually also just a reminder to subscribe if you haven't already. And actually give me a little progress update in the comments below, because just let me know what you're kind of thinking of this sort of video so far. Because is it too much information with not enough visuals? Like, we've obviously been on this one slide for a pretty sizable chunk of time with nothing new popping up, and I'm kind of just saying facts at you. So yeah, am I kind of just like glazing over the details? Just let me know. But yeah, we are going to move on now. So onto the grass types. You can see here that there's Venusaur down there at the bottom, who we did mention earlier about being the best Umbreon counter in the 1 shield. We mentioned in that other video, but he does lose in the 2 shield. So I mean, with 2 Snarls you can actually flip that 0 shield matchup, but that could potentially be a little bit of an ask, because 2 Snarls is 6 turns you're looking at, so it's not guaranteed, but if you get that 2 Snarls, you can flip that matchup. That's definitely nice to have. And then back up at the top, we've got Victreebel, and Umbreon is just beating in all 3 situations, but Victreebel is kind of getting a little close for comfort by the time you get to the 2 shield. And actually, if Victreebel goes for an Acid Spray, which, I mean, it has to have Acid Spray, but then it has to go for one, whether you shield it or not, that's going to put you in a rough spot, and Victreebel is going to win out that matchup. So Victreebel probably going to run Acid Spray in this cup, even though it's not the PvP Poke recommended moveset right now. So yeah, I recommend maybe steer clear of Victreebel, although again, we'll have to wait and see if Victreebel actually shows up. The Jumpluff is actually a grass type that is going to show up a lot more than Victreebel, I imagine, and it is going to win in the 1 shield. Although, to win in the 1 shield, it actually needs to successfully bait an Aerial Ace. So if you actually shield an Energy Ball, assuming there's no 10% chance of a debuff that comes your way, Umbreon does actually flip that matchup in its favour. So just try and shield an Energy Ball from your Umbreon, and that could be yours. So, the 1 shield matchup, obviously the main one that you're going to be seeing. So shield an Energy Ball, you're good. If you shield an Aerial Ace and then shield an Energy Ball, obviously you're bumping yourself up to the 2 shield situation anyway, which you are going to win. So yeah, whatever. You can sink it if you want, or you can just try and gamble 1 shield and catch that Energy Ball, but yeah, it's a little bit of a gamble. But then there's Breloom, who just kind of hurts Umbreon with that counter damage coming through. I think most people will be using Sudowoodo as their counter user and not Breloom, so we're kind of just hanging out with Breloom here to make him feel a bit better. So yeah, Umbreon, it's one of the few places that Breloom does feel good though, so even successfully shielding a Dynamic Punch and just being hit by a Seed Bomb, Breloom still wins, just because counter is just so much damage. So yeah, it's a loss. And yeah, we already went through Venusaur before, so that's the grass types, and on to the ice types. So Frostlass has the ghost typing. Ghost doesn't like dark. Foul plays dark. Frostlass dead. So yeah, that's Frostlass. I mean, even if Umbreon actually still wins in the 0-2 shield, so if Frostlass has 2 shields, it still can't beat Umbreon. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Frostlass, very hard counted. But then there's Lapras, who is actually the other big bulk machine of this of the cup. So it's like Umbreon and Lapras, they're the pair I'm seeing at the moment. While Umbreon does win out in the 0 and 1 shield, Lapras does win out in the 2 shield. So 1 Snarl advantage will flip that. So again, a little bit of an energy advantage. 1 Snarl, boom, you can beat Lapras in that 2 shield. So again, you're not going to see too many 2 shield situations with that, I imagine. But just know you've got it if you get that 1 Snarl. But yeah, Umbreon's kind of stacking up these points to say Umbreon is the ultimate safe switch. So, I mean, I think that's going to bring a little bit of a counterplay of people are going to have Umbreon counters in the back as opposed to the lead. We'll just have to see how that plays out. But anyway, Snowy Castform, similar to Lapras, but the 1 shield is really close. And in the 2 shield, it actually seems like in a lot of IV scenarios, Umbreon can come out on top. So, it kind of, I tried a couple of IV combinations. It seemed like there wasn't a clear-cut way to go. Like, you want to have this, you want to have this. It seemed like there were multiple combinations. Yeah, I'm kind of rambling on about that one point, but yeah, it is a little bit iffy. So don't count on either of them to be a counter to the other one. Basically, there might be some quick switches, whatever, because it is going to take over 2 minutes. So yeah, that's kind of something to look out for. But anyway, and then there's Glalie, who I consider to kind of be Frostlass light. I mean, up against Umbreon, it actually might be the other way around, because Umbreon has a pretty straightforward win in the 0 shield, but, and actually, I should warn you, here it comes again, for both the 1 and the 2 shield scenarios, 2-snarl advantage. If Umbreon gets a 2-snarl advantage, Umbreon wins both of those matchups. Again, it's not guaranteed you're going to be able to get 2 snarls because it is 6 turns, but if you get it, don't switch in Glalie. That's the lesson again. Don't switch things into Glalie, into Umbreon too slow, basically. And also, actually, I should probably throw in, remember how I said that Drapion would be here on the ice image? Well, I kind of forgot, but Umbreon does beat Drapion in all 3 shield scenarios, so Umbreon wins, so it doesn't. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, bug types. Bug is one of those typings that is super effective to Umbreon's like dark game going on. So Vespiquen takes out all 3 shield situations, straight X-Scissor. And if you've seen my battle videos already, you actually might have noticed that I'm running Bug Buzz. It's just as effective, just straight Bug Buzz. You've got it. And then Drill Run. So it's an interesting one because it's even if it goes straight X-Scissor, it just doesn't take out Umbreon, so it's actually a really close matchup. A high attack Beedrill will actually dominate the 1 shield, so I think a lot of people tend to power up the good PvP rank ones, but if you powered up, like if you evolved a shiny Drill Run, and you know, it might have a high attack, you just evolved it because it was shiny, maybe you've got that attack stat that you want to beat down Umbreon, so something to look into, and then you can, if you've got that shiny flex, it's obviously nice too. And then Pinsir is the other bug type that's actually really interesting in this cup, because it has close combat, which is like, it's going to take a lot of health out from the Umbreon. I think it's a little over half, so if baiting works out perfectly, Pinsir wins the 1 and the 2 shield, but I should probably mention now, Pinsir actually also wins the 1 and the 2 shield, literally just going straight X-Scissor. No bait requirements, no need to debuff yourself, just straight X-Scissor, and yeah, you've got that matchup. So it's not like you have to shield the close combat or whatever. If they're going to burn a shield, you're kind of done. Just let Umbreon go down to that point. That is my thing. So bugs, they're not Umbreon's Catacomb Cup of tea, if you catch my drift. But before we move on to the rock types, again, please do leave any feedback in the comments below, because I really do want to improve these videos a bit. It is our first kind of going through it. But yeah, let's rock and roll, because we're going on to the rock type. So the rock types, it is a little bit of an odd bunch here, because we've got Caracosta, a water type, Magcargo, a fire type, and then Sudowoodo, who is a tree. And that tree happens to have counter, so that does not bode well for Umbreon, who really does not like counter, as per the sea of red that you can see there. But if Sudowoodo uses a single shield against your Umbreon, it wins. So you can decide if you just want to let Umbreon go down to that point, if you want to make it a little bit of a closer matchup. But yeah, just know, if Sudowoodo uses 1 shield, it will win that matchup. So there is something flying overhead, so hopefully that isn't too loud. I feel like I say that a lot of stuff flies overhead. Anyway, now up against Caracosta, it's a little bit interesting because it's the total reverse. So as soon as Umbreon invests a shield, Umbreon wins. So straight foul play, nothing fancy, that's just how it is. So then there's Magcargo, who's managing to get the goalposts and like score right between. I'm talking about the numbers there, by the way, like the 0, 1, 2, the red, green, red. But the 0 shield matchup is actually really IV dependent. So with standard stats, that Umbreon hangs on with 1 HP. So that's something to be a little bit careful of. You're not going to win that every time. And then in the 1 shield matchup, want to know how many snarls you need to flip the matchup? I'll just tell you, it's 2. It's 2 snarls. 2 snarls is the magic number. So if you've got 2 snarls and your opponent switches in anything into Umbreon, you might win. So be wary of what you bring into an Umbreon that has 2 snarls, to say the least. But yeah, that was the basic run through of Umbreon with Foul Play and Last Resort, the PvP Poke recommended moveset. So what does happen if you don't have a Last Resort Umbreon though? Or maybe if you want to go for the Dark Pulse Foul Play. Like, what moveset do you really want to have on Umbreon? And so yeah, we're not done with the info dump, don't click off yet, but in the name of not going through the entire video again, we're going to whip out the Venn diagram from way back in the Drill Run video. So we've got the Foul Play Dark Pulse in the top left, so that's the Umbreon with no Last Resort. Then we've got the standard Foul Play Last Resort in the bottom with the red circle, and then the little bit extra spicy Dark Pulse Last Resort is over there in the top rightish sort of zone. So briefly to explain, the Pokemon right in the center are beaten by all 3 Umbreons. The Pokemon in the pink sections are beaten by the 2 Umbreons on either side of it. So Lapras, for example, it's beaten by the 2 Umbreons that have Foul Play, but it does beat the Dark Pulse Last Resort one over on the right because it isn't in that circle. So yeah, what can we get out of this? So what we really want to know is what you're going to lose if you don't have the Last Resort, and that is expectedly the Dark types in the bottom right pinkish bit. So Drapion, Umbreon Mirror, Alolan Skuntank, they're all coming out on top, and they don't really care about your dark damage. So you kind of need that normal neutral hits So that's why the Last Resort can come on top and the other ones do not. So I did mention that in the meta video. You do pick up the Venusaur matchup if you have the Dark Pulse the Dark Pulse Foul Play matchup. So, you know, maybe that's something to consider. And you actually also get that Sudowoodo matchup compared to the Last Resort Foul Play. The Dark Pulse Last Resort one also gets Sudowoodo, but yeah, don't really look at that guy. It's kind of not the moves that you want to go for. I actually have Dark Pulse Last Resort on mine at the moment. I'm going to switch it over because I think Foul Play is definitely superior here. So I guess the question to ask is Venusaur and Sudowoodo worth dropping Last Resort? Personally, I would say no, because Umbreon and Zweilous are going to be so common on like everyone's teams. Like, I know Sudowoodo and Venusaur are going to be big too, but Umbreon is already so hard to counter as is. If you don't have a Last Resort, you're kind of losing that matchup, so it might be something to consider, just really trying to get one of those Last Resort ones. But obviously, if you don't have a Last Resort and you just can't get one, you can rest assured knowing you've pretty much got most of the matchups down anyway. Plus, you get those little extra few bonuses, and I mean, also I should probably mention that there's that one little jump life in the yellow section where that Dark Pulse Last Resort does beat, but I don't think that's worth losing to Lapras, Snowy Castle, and Victory Bell. So just go for Foul Play, no matter what you do, and then Last Resort if you can. If you can't, you can still run Umbreon without. So with that said, that is essentially my little deep dive into Umbreon. The moral of the story seems to be that if you can get a 2-star advantage, boom, pure beast mode unlocked. There's nothing can do to stop you. And yeah, also please do let me know how I can improve these sorts of videos going forward in the comments below, because I kind of just went with the flow with how the information kind of came through. So I just kind of did what felt right, and I kind of ended up feeling a little bit like a low budget Battle Hero video. So that wasn't on purpose, but yeah, I guess I can just hope that you got something out of this video, even if it's just the fact that Umbreon, absolute beast if he gets a little bit of an energy advantage. So I mean, Umbreon's just one of those Pokemon that has such a ridiculously close matchup with like everything all over the place, so that is exactly why he is #1 on PvPoke. So with that said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. And actually some awesome little news here, because I do have to thank one brand new patron to the PvP Steve Patreon supportee crew that still doesn't have a sort of name yet, SqeakyNL. So thank you to SqeakyNL for supporting the channel, because I mean, yeah, super awesome. And I will thank you to all of my other patrons too: Milton9458, brajSF, -Ben10, Not Newman, and Yahwertle. All of you for supporting the channel, because they are super cool people. And yeah, leave that feedback below in the comments about that the video thing. Maybe find the link in the description to follow me on Twitch. And yeah, I'll see you in the next Catacomb Cup video. Whoa. Wow, this was a long video. Okay, anyway, yeah, bye. This took ages to make, actually. Man. Probably a battle video next. Yeah, okay, bye.